Hey guys, my name is Marcello from Elympics, and I am here to introduce the latest Olympics features included in our new PlayPad SDK. So first of all, the PlayPad is our designated front-end solution to hosting all your games made using the Olympics SDKs. The PlayPad SDK is a package that would allow your games to communicate with our hosting site, the PlayPad. So if you have worked with us before, you have probably created games that needed to include buttons like Connect Wallet and a user panel. Looking at the example right in front of me, we can see the Connect Wallet button and the user panel that will update once I connect my wallet. Additionally, you will most likely have to fetch these leaderboards yourself and handle it in your game. With the new PlayPad SDK, we have removed all these responsibilities from you as developers, and now all backend communication is being handled by the PlayPad and being sent to your game via the PlayPad SDK. All you need to do is display the information that is being sent to by the PlayPad and not worry about the rest. As we can see over here, we have a user panel already added, and the leaderboards are also displayed. This brings a lot of benefits, like future-proofing your games, since Olympics can update the logic in the PlayPad without requiring you to update your games. Games no longer need to query the backend, nor do they need to have loading states in the main menu, because all data is being sent from the PlayPad via callbacks, so it can be updated immediately. Additionally, authentications for users no longer needs to be handled by your game. This is handled by the PlayPad automatically. And if your integration is done correctly, your game will also support custom tournaments and telegrams, allowing users to create tournaments with their friends and playing between themselves. However, there are downsides to this as well, and this will be the main topic of this video. The biggest downside to the PlayPad sending us all the information and none of this logic needing to exist in your game is that if you are not hosting your game in the PlayPad, you will not have access to this information, right? And as developers, we spend most of our time in the editor, so of course your editor is not hosted on the PlayPad. However, we have thought about this, and we have created a way for you to be able to test this information in your editor so you can make sure your logic works flawlessly before spending unnecessary times making new builds. And this will be the goal of this video, is to show you how to test all these new features in your editor. So the first things we should look at are the three standalone configs. These are Authenticator, Tournament, and Game Status. For this video, we can ignore the Authenticator config, as this does not bring much value for simulation on the editor. Unless there's a very specific issue with authentication in your game, this for the most part can be disregarded. However, the game status and the tournament config are very good for testing, as you can check different UI states for your game. So specifically, the game status config, this will change the behavior of your play button. As you can see over here, it's play and play. So there's a drop down with 3 different states. The play state will just allow you to play your game as normal and proceed. It will show the green sprite. Here we can just play. Yep, we can play the game. Then the user action required state is used when user action is required, funnily enough. So this could happen when you have a paid tournament, for example, and the user has not bought their ticket. The PlayPad will normally communicate this with some default message like user no ticket, or even better, no ticket found. And it will need user action since the user needs to buy a ticket. So once we restart this, you will see that the button will automatically update to no ticket found, and it will give you a error with significant information. So additionally, what if the tournament has concluded and the user cannot participate anymore? The PlayPad will return blocked, and the play button will update the text to concluded, and it will not even let you click because the tournament is finished, right? So let's reset this back to default. Now, the tournament config, on the other hand, will allow you to change more UI features in the tournament. So for example, the tournament ID, this is not shown in the UI. This is mostly for code, but for example, the tournament name, you can call it my very cool video. Then additionally, we have the start date and the end date. Right now, it's on the 11th of, on the 19th of November. So let's change this to December 17th at 2:55, and let's make the tournament end on December 19th. All right. Leaderboard capacity can also be disregarded for this video. And then the prize pool, right now we're getting 1750 respect, and with this default image. So let's just change the image to anything right now, as we don't have much in this project. And let's make it 9,999. So once we update or we play the scene again, you will see that the text of the tournament name changed to my very cool video. We have 9,999 with an icon of a person over here as we sent. And we have 2 days and 3 hours left for our tournament, which is currently ongoing. So why is this good? This means that if our PlayPad decides to send you a respect icon, for example, instead of this placeholder, then the game will automatically display the correct image. Also, what if you make a paid tournament that instead of respect, it returns you USDC coins? Then the PlayPad will most likely send you something like this with a correct image, and your game will automatically update that without you needing to touch the client build again. This will all be handled in the PlayPad and will be shown correctly. Additionally, the start date and end dates of tournaments can be changed, so you can see how the tournament behaves with different states, or how the UI of the game behaves with different tournament states. So let's go to the start date, the 19th. You can see over here that the tournament is starting in 1 day and 22 hours. And what happens if we make the end date on the 16th and the start date on the 16th as well? So the tournament was concluded 20 hours and 16 minutes ago. As you can see, all of this UI is updated via a very easy to change scriptable object, so you can test a lot of different things in your editor. You don't always have to make a build in the PlayPad to test your functionality. So you might have already noticed that you don't have control over all of the information that is in your game menu scene. That is because we've added some more scripts or some more customization options so you can test logic in your game. One of these things is the leaderboard. As you can see, when we press play, leaderboard always shows 10 players, test nickname with 10 score, and this is by default. But if you would like to change this information, we have provided some abstract base classes for you to inherit and be able to change this as you wish. So for this, we need to create a new script. Let's just call it leaderboard communicator test video, because this is for the video, but in your game, feel free to call it something else. And let's open this up, and first thing we're going to do is remove all of this. So now we need to inherit from the abstract class, but you know what? I forgot what the abstract class name is. So I'm going to open the PlayPad editor and look for, and look for custom leaderboard communicator. So I do custom leaderboard communicator. Over here, I can find the base class right here, so I don't even need to remember this. I can just copy paste. Perfect. And we can inherit this. Automatically, this should tell us that hey, you are not implementing the abstract class correctly. So in Visual Studio, at least, I can just Alt Enter and implement the abstract class, and it will fill out most of this information for me. So I will just do this boring part. Probably it's going to be fast forwarded. Now we can see a default script that returns the leaderboard information and the user high score. In this fetch leaderboard class, this is where we will return the leaderboard information. As you can see, both of these are unique tasks since they will simulate requests from the PlayPad. But yes, in this fetch leaderboard, we first check if the user is this entry, and then we just add the auth data is the user ID and the nickname. This is available in the editor, so this should work as well. And if it's not the user, then we just add I for the user ID, so an integer, and then Johnny with a random integer. As you can see as well, the score will be lower the more down you go in the list to simulate the real leaderboard, and the match ID and the tournament ID and the score data information are not really important for our purposes either. So the cool thing about this is that since this is a for loop, I can increase the number of participants, and this should increase the number of leaderboard entries as well. So let's test this in game. And all we need to do is create an empty object. Add this script to the object, and then just drop this thing over here. Let's save the game, run it again. And as you can see, we have Johnny 0, Johnny 1, the information of our editor, Johnny 3, and Johnny 4, and my best score of 200 as I indicated over here. So if you want to change anything, you can change all this information in your own script and make sure that you can simulate all the different things you want. So if I want my user to be first place, for example, make sure to stop this. Voila, user is first place. If you want to do some more cool things as well, you can add a small static database using player prefs in order to simulate saving scores in the backend. I've already gone ahead and created this and just made a very simple script that uses player prefs and player score ID. It saves the player score in player prefs and it reads it with this public static method. Now it only saves the score if you score a higher score than what you already have saved, so in order to simulate how the leaderboards will work. But in our real backend, we will always save your score, but you will only see the highest score, of course. Then over in our leaderboard communicator test script, I added a new parameter which returns the user score from the static database, or if not, it returns a default score. I've done this, and I've also gone ahead in our gameplay scene and saved the score in our client. So this way it should work. So on the first run, we will also see we have 0 scores. We just added this script, but now if we get, say, 15, go back, you have 15 points. And yes, you can do many more things with this as well. You could also overwrite the tournament communicator and change more data that's in here, so you could change all of this data programmatically. Then you could also change the game status communicator so it communicates with the tournament, and then automatically change the play button to blocked if the tournament is over, and stuff like this. There's a lot of there's a lot of possibilities. You could change the external UI communicator to open different panels, but all of these possibilities are all in the goal of uploading your game to our PlayPad and having it work on live. So on live, you will have all these buttons which are currently being worked on, but these buttons will display the prize distribution for respect, for first, second, third place. You can also sign in. Oops, sorry. Authenticate screen turns on. We play a match. Let's get me the high score. Then go back and we get my high score over here. So all this information is, or all this stuff that we added over here is just for testing in the editor. In the PlayPad, all this information will work as intended. But yeah, thank you for watching the video, guys. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to join our Discord and ask any Olympics person. And yeah, I wish you happy coding and a wonderful day.